So here's my honest review of the trip. I'm going to leave a blurb of what the video is about, but I'm probably going to jump through a few different things like what I thought the whole airport process through Sydney, because it's been 5 years since I flew out of Sydney International. What I thought the process at San Francisco Airport, the airline that we flew, United, motels we stayed at, the activities we did, the parts of the city that I saw, and the activities we got up to whilst we're in San Francisco. So I'll start with Sydney Airport. So a little bit different to when I last flew out. It's a pretty simple process. You just go behind the farewell wall at Sydney Airport, you line up, scan your passport, stand on the 2 feet spot, takes your photo, through you go. So there's no more stamping of the passport, which is a little bit disappointing because you want to collect stamps in your passport, but that's all good now. But the staff were really good. Security was really quick. I was through there in about 5-10 minutes on my way to the gate, and away I went. Coming back into Sydney, obviously got to fill out that silly card you got to fill out. Probably only one country. I think it's only one of the only countries in the world that still does it. But anyway, it's all good. But they try to get you to do that fast pass, and I don't know how. I think it's more since the pandemic that's happened. But we did it the old-fashioned way. Went up to an agent, showed our passports, went through. Rachel and I both got through. We had nothing to declare, so got straight through, straight into the baggage hall, and away we went. So we flew United. So obviously Rachel flew out a month before I did. Her reports of the crew were awesome, that she had going over. The crew that I had, basically I sat in the wrong seat by mistake. I was meant to be in 55 and have someone on the outside, but I accidentally slipped into 56, which was 2 seats across. But they never said anything. They were happy for me to sit there. Sort of levels out the way to the aircraft. Managed to get a little bit of sleep, curl up on the 2 seats. Sort of bending over in a 45-degree angle, laid my head on one seat, had my legs hanging out on the other seat. Bit turbulent flying over the islands though, very heavy turbulence going over, but the flight was really quick. So captain did it in 12 hours 45 minutes, so I had to get on the phone to Rachel and let her know I was going to land early, which she replied, yep, on my way, no dramas. When I arrived in San Francisco, quite easy, more than LA, because I've only ever flown into Los Angeles, but very quick process, couple of questions, flagged me through, had nothing to declare. Easy walk to the baggage carousel, bag came out 5th, which I was lucky, grabbed my bag, didn't get pulled up going through, had my bag searched, and went out to the baggage hall, where I was due to meet Rachel at the Starbucks, but she was running early, so she went for a walk around the airport. But I kept her updated on my progress through the airport, and not realising that there was actually a camera with a video screen showing when I came out. So everyone out there is asking, did I get my Love Actually moment? I look at a lot of reunions and boyfriends and girlfriends in the airport working in the airline industry, and I thought, when's going to be my time? And I finally got my time. So my first instinct was when I walked out, and there were there's like a bar there where people could sit, not a bar, but like an actual garden bed where you could sit, and there were a few people waiting there. I thought, oh, Rachel's probably still walking. So I saw the Starbucks out the corner of my eye, started walking towards the Starbucks, and lo and behold, next minute I'm hearing tea. Turn around, there's Rach. Big hug, big kiss. A little bit emotional seeing each other for the first time in 3 weeks. It's the longest time we've been apart since we've been together, but it was truly a great moment, and we truly missed each other. We got a coffee, cappuccino each, sat down at a cappuccino, walked up to the shuttle bus for the Western, which was a nice easy walk up to the departures level, and the bus trip was 5 minutes, to which we arrived at the Western, which Rach checked in the night before. There were no dramas. Everything was basically paid for. She checked in. Nice room. I got in. Very nice room, actually. Very comfy bed. Nice view of the bay and the airport. So we stayed near the airport. Went for a little bit of a walk in the afternoon. Found a Shell service station. Got some snacks. The food in the motel I found pretty pricey though for dinner, so we ended up going back to the airport terminal for dinner and having Chinese that night. Oh, chef's kiss, it was beautiful. And then settled in for the night, went to bed, and the next day got an Uber to the Ryu Plaza, which was just near Pier 39. Short walk and you're at Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf. Arrived pretty safely. The room was ready early, so we arrived about, I believe, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the room was already ready. The concierge took our bags to the room, tipped him. Another beautiful room, comfy bed, looking in the forecourt of the motel. The good thing about the Westin charge for Wi-Fi though, which a lot of motels don't do that anymore. It's often included, so... But the Westin has to make money somehow, and that's cool. So basically, checked into the Ryu Plaza, free Wi-Fi. The lady that checked us in was really lovely, gave us a map, circled a few points of interest. Obviously, Rachel had been there before, so she knew what we wanted to see, what we didn't want to see, all that sort of stuff. So checked in. I believe we went for dinner that first night. Trying to think where we went for dinner that first night. I think we had soup for lunch, I believe, and bumped into Kalala, who's a former colleague of ours at Virgin. It was great to see her. Beautiful soup. She had the chowder, I had the tomato soup. It was served in a bread roll, really lovely. And then basically chilled in the room for the night. Pretty tired, so I went to bed. She went to bed. And the next day was Thanksgiving in America. So that day we decided we'll go see the Golden Gate Bridge. So we walked from Fisherman's Wharf all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge, across the Golden Gate Bridge to the other side, had a drink and a bite to eat, walked back. Basically we were buggered, walked 17 kilometres, couldn't walk anymore. Lucky for us, a bus turned up, took us back to Fisherman's Wharf. What an experience Golden Gate Bridge was, beautiful views. Couldn't believe how far we walked. Had a bit of a rest, packed water, all that sort of stuff. Was down to a t-shirt and jeans. It was pretty hot walking that day. But what an absolute beautiful piece of architecture the Golden Gate Bridge is. But to be able to say I walked the Golden Gate Bridge was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and truly enjoyed that. Then we did a few other activities. I won't go in order of the activities, but I believe there was one day that Rachel was pretty tired. She said, "Oh, you're a good planner, why don't you go plan something?" So I had a look at a few of the cruise options around, like the ferry boat, and found a cruise, like an afternoon ferry ride to Sausalito, which, excuse me, never been in San Francisco before, and decided to book this cruise to Sausalito. And when I got back to the room, Rachel was awake, and she said, "Oh, did you find anything?" I said, "Yeah, have you ever been to Sausalito?" She said, "No." So that was pretty exciting to take her somewhere she'd never been before. Beautiful afternoon cruise on the bay, went across, spent the afternoon in Sausalito, had a nice coffee. A lot of artists and artistic town, very quiet little part of town, very beautiful. Not realising you can actually hire bikes right across the Golden Gate Bridge into Sausalito, and then you can take your bike back across on the ferry. But you live and you learn. Very cold ferry trip back. It was getting very cold late at night, and went from there. Another activity we did was Oracle Park, the home of the San Francisco Giants. That was awesome. Very intimate tour, only 5 of us on the tour, a father, son and grandson, and myself and Rach. So we got a good insight into the behind the scenes running of a Major League Ball club, the history of the club, history of the great players, all the retired numbers, how the Cove got its name, McCovey Cove, the water cannons that go off when they hit a home run into the water. Only time you can hit a home run into the water is if you're a lefty, because you're basically driving the ball left and flies off the bat into the cove. It's got to go on the full for the water cannons to go off. Really great experience. We walked that day to there and then walked back. Great experience. Did a lot of walking on this trip. Kept us fit. Went to another great restaurant, which was Bar and Grill. That was really awesome. That was in Pier 39. Pier 39 was awesome. I really enjoyed it. A lot of great shops, a lot of great places to get souvenirs. Another activity we did, well, originally I booked the Alcatraz cruise for the Saturday through TripAdvisor, but got cancelled. One thing I learnt on this trip was never book something like that through TripAdvisor, go through the actual website. So I got us on the cruise on Monday. Very great insight into Alcatraz and the history of the Native Americans in Alcatraz, and that they tried to claim the island back between 1969 and 1971. Learned about a man called Richard Oakes. I've actually bought his autobiography for Christmas. He was a Native American that led the revolution to get the island back. Unfortunately, he was shot, hearing that his daughter tragically died on the island. Then a couple of years later, he was shot and killed by a sheriff, which is pretty sad. And then a few other things we did. We rode the trolley, rode my namesake, Mason Street trolley. Had a really good time on the trolley. Great system. You want to be a good brake man, because if the brakes fail on that thing, you're basically shooting down the road or rolling back down the hills. Saw the windy road, Lombard Street, went up to the Coit Tower, lift broke down, wanted to change us to walk the stairs. I said, hell no, we're not doing that. We walked enough. And then, yeah, basically had a great time doing all these activities, seen all the restaurants, seen all the shops. And then coming home, it was pretty carefree. Great crew coming home. Plenty of room up the back of the aircraft. Rachel could lie across 4 seats. There's a whole row of 4. On the other side, there's a whole row of 3. I laid across 3. Got a good night's sleep. Sleep pattern was a bit out of whack. We woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning Australia time, which is okay. We're used to that. But my honest review of the city and the parts I saw, Bay Bridge was beautiful. There's parts of the city that were actually quite beautiful. We didn't go to the Tenderloins, which is the dangerous part of town. We were told not to go there. Saw a little bit of Golden Gate Park. Didn't get to Ocean Beach. Didn't get to the Land's End this time round. But there's always next time. Hopefully the dollar goes up and we can get back there, do a shortened down trip of San Francisco and move on to other places. But my honest review of San Francisco as a city, it's a very beautiful city on the bay, very picturesque. Saw a little bit of Chinatown as well. But the parts I saw of San Francisco were actually beautiful. Couple of cons about San Francisco, if I'm being honest, is the homeless is a big issue in San Francisco. I had a run-in with one homeless guy. I won't go into it, but basically he had a few choice words to say to my beautiful girl. I eyeballed him. He basically apologised. Saw him around a couple other times, avoided him like the Black Plague. Obviously, the homeless, if you're a smoker, will come up and ask for a cigarette. A lot of them are armed, got sticks, knives, things like that. More to protect themselves against other homeless rather than to attack you. I was informed of a rule where you can't prosecute a homeless person unless they steal over $1,000 worth of stuff. So they can basically steal up to $1,000 worth of stuff and not be prosecuted, which is a pretty ridiculous rule. I also found parts of San Francisco smelled very strong scent of weed and marijuana, but they've made pot legal in California, so I guess a lot of people smoke on the streets. Not me, I'm drug free, but I know what the stuff smells like. But that's my only cons for the trip. All in all, I think Rachel was thinking I was going to be disappointed with the trip because obviously knowing I've done the theme parks in Orlando and Anaheim. It's not about fun parks, it was about learning, about seeing somewhere new, which I really enjoyed. We've got unfinished business in San Francisco. We only found 8 of 131 hearts. So we're going to try and find the other hearts as well when we go back, whenever that may be. But other than that, San Francisco for me was an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed my time. I had the great chance to go back to the United States, considering I only made the decision to go on the trip back in August, which is the shortest ever turnaround I've had going into a trip, like a 3-month planning. Normally my planning's been 12 to 18 months going on a major trip. But managed to wing a couple of days, which was good. Managed to plan a couple of days for us, which was excellent. Took Rachel to a few places she'd never been before. Then she showed me a lot of San Francisco, which she'd seen, the Painted Ladies. Haight Ashbury was another great place, very psychedelic, very 1960s, peace, love, sex, drugs and rock and roll. But other than that, yeah, San Francisco, 8 out of 10. Would I go back to San Francisco? Yes, I would. Would I stay 9 days? Probably only stay a couple of days and then grab a hire car, probably drive down the coast, as Rach said to me at one stage during the trip. But other than that, coming back home was pretty good. It's good to be home. Still adjusting a little bit, but all good. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this review, and peace out.